98.3 FM and 1340 AM KIHR and GorgeRadio.com presents the Mid-Columbia Today Show with Mark Bailey. Special thanks to our sponsors, Skyline Hospital, Eastside Paving, and Del Carpine Automotive. Now, here's Mark Bailey.
Good morning. 8:05. It is a Thursday in June the 25th, to be precise. Took me a second. I couldn't remember what the date was. Going to be cloudy today. The clouds have already arrived. They were talking, I guess there's a little sun peeking through in Hood River right now, where we're at. But thank you for joining us, whether you're live or whether you're listening on the podcast, wherever podcasts are available. But this morning, first part of the show, Genevieve Scholl is going to join us, Port of Cascade Locks. They got their 4th of July events coming up. We've talked about Hood River 4th of July. We've talked White Salmon 4th of July. We'll just move a little west, talk Cascade Locks 4th of July. Second half, we're not quite sure. We have somebody scheduled, but let's see. Kind of one of those deals. If not, I do have something to blather about. Actually, I got a couple things to blather about. One somewhat serious and one won't be at all. But anyway, I probably should get going here. I got to get the engine cranked up. Here's what this day is meant and what it means, at least to some people. 1876, the Battle of the Little Bighorn, also known as Custer's Last Stand, began in southeastern Montana Territory. As many as 100 Native Americans were killed in the battle, as were 268 people attached to the 7th Cavalry Regiment, including George Armstrong Custer and Mark Kellogg, the first Associated Press reporter to die in the line of duty. 1938, the Fair Labor Standards Act of 1918, which set a minimum wage, guaranteed overtime pay, and banned oppressive child labor, was signed into law by President Franklin D. Roosevelt. 1947, The Diary of a Young Girl, the personal journal of Anne Frank, a German-born Jewish girl hiding with her family from the Nazis in Amsterdam during World War II, was first published. 1950, war broke out in Korea as forces from the Communist North invaded the South. The conflict would last for over 3 years and be responsible for an estimated 4 million deaths, an estimated 3 million of whom were civilians. I believe we called it, when America went there, a police action rather than a war. For those of you who might be wondering, because you know that oftentimes the conflicts we get involved in, they take great pains to say it's to not use the word war. A lot of code words out there. 1973, former White House counsel John Dean began testifying before the Senate Watergate Committee, implicating top administration officials, including President Richard Nixon, as well as himself, in the Watergate scandal and cover-up. 1990, the Supreme Court in Krizan versus Director, Missouri Department of Health, its first right-to-die decision ruled 5-4 the family members could be barred from ending the lives of persistently comatose relatives who had not made their wishes known conclusively. 1993, Kim Campbell was sworn in as Canada's 19th Prime Minister, the first woman to hold the post. 1996, a truck bomb that killed 19 Americans and injured hundreds at a U.S. military housing complex in Saudi Arabia. Also, in 2015, the case of King versus Burwell, the U.S. Supreme Court upheld nationwide tax subsidies under President Barack Obama's health care overhaul in a 6-3 ruling that preserved health insurance for millions of Americans. And in 2021, former Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin was sentenced to 22 and a half years in prison for the murder of George Floyd, whose death led to the biggest outcry against racial injustice in the U.S. in generations. Days for today, it's Color TV Day. This apparently was the day the first color TV transmission was made, I think, by a network. It was actually 1951. Really, very few people could see it. Color TVs really didn't start to take off until, because of cost, mainly, along with technological issues. 1961 is when The Wonderful World of Disney premiered in color. And that sparked some interest. And it just kind of slowly through the mid-60s, took till about 1970 or so for color TV to start to bypass black and white as far as what people had in their homes. So it took a while. Think back, HD was similar. It took quite a while for HD to completely integrate into our homes. Of course, now you can get an HTV for darn near nothing. Size matters and quality matters, but HD TVs are available for very little for the smaller ones. It's also Global Beatles Day today. Somebody's declared this a few years ago, that this is the day to think about all the things the Beatles stood for, as in the band, not the insect. National Catfish Day today. We don't think about it here, but you get catfish. I was on a vacation as a youngster with my parents to the Missouri, Arkansas area of the country. Stopped at some restaurant. Had catfish. It was really good. I mean, catfish can be... We don't think about it here. We don't really put catfish onto our list of fish we dine on, but good catfish is really good. It's also National Handshake Day today. And we're talking about the traditional handshake, not, fist bumping and high fives and all that. This is an actual business-like handshake. Our food for today, and I put catfish into there. It's National Strawberry Parfait Day. So that sounds pretty good. And it's National Bomb Pop Day today. For those of you who don't know what a bomb pop is, you probably have seen them in the store. They're probably named something else now. They were invented by some confectioner in the early 50s. They're a popsicle, basically. But it's red, white, and blue, 3 different flavors, and it was in the shape of this early 50s. This is the Cold War. It was done in the shape of a bomb, of a missile, basically. That's why they're called... I don't know if they're called bomb pops anymore. They might have changed that for various reasons. I know the original manufacturers changed hands numerous times, but apparently they're still made. You probably have seen them in your grocery shelves. But there you go. It's the day to have them, apparently. As we near the 4th of July, we're on kind of the countdown to that. 9 days away. So when we come back, there it is for what it's worth. Probably not a whole lot. Genevieve Scholl joins us after this.
Dreaming of a better sleep? Downey Sleep Center is making it easier than ever with big savings right now. Get a Sealy Posturepedic King mattress for the price of a queen, and a queen for the price of a twin. Your choice of feel, so get what your body needs. That's bigger comfort, bigger savings, and better sleep for less. Now's the time to replace that old saggy mattress. Get a Sealy Posturepedic King for the price of a queen, and queen for the price of a twin. Sleep better and save big today at Downey Sleep Center. Locally owned in the Dalles and in Hood River.
U-Cut is happening now at beautiful Hood River Lavender. Don't miss this year's early lavender season as the fields burst into bloom with vibrant color and the calming scent of lavender at its peak. Stroll the farm, cut your own bouquet, and browse handmade gifts and essential oils that capture the season. Then, just steps away, unwind at Stave and Stone Winery with award-winning wines, vineyard views, and the perfect summer afternoon. Come for the lavender, stay for the wine. Visit Hood River Lavender today.
I am Imelda Padilla. I am a daughter, a mother, a sister, and a proud member of this community. Being part of Skyline Health, both on the hospital and the foundation board, allows me to support the healthcare that this community needs to keep us strong. That's why I am committed to supporting Skyline, not just as a patient, but as a board member. This hospital makes our community stronger and healthier every day. I am Skyline.
Mid-Columbia Today is a public affairs program of Bi-Coastal Media Columbia River, 98.3 FM and 1340 AM KIHR and GorgeRadio.com. Now, back to Mark Bailey.
And we're back at 8:14 in the morning. We're happy to have now with us on the program from the Port of Cascade Locks, Genevieve Scholl's with us. Good morning, Jen.
Hey, good morning, Mark.
How are you doing today?
Doing great.
Well, good. Good to have you with us here. We haven't had you on for a while. And
yeah.
The 4th of July is coming, and it sounds like the Port of Cascade Locks, you got some plans out there.
Yeah, we're really excited about the 4th of July. It's a big thing in Cascade Locks. You know, it's your typical sort of small-town celebration, but we put a lot of work into it. If you haven't been to the Marine Park in Cascade Locks lately, you've got to come. It's just idyllic. It's so beautiful. And so we'll have multiple food vendors down there in the park all day. 4th of July is on a Saturday, I believe, this year.
Yes, it
is. We expect it to be a really busy day down at the park, and the build up to it, even on Friday, we expect to be pretty busy. And the port really prides itself on the fireworks show that we put on every year. We shoot off fireworks from a spot on Thunder Island. So if you're sitting at the park, you're pretty much sitting directly below the fireworks. It's a really, really great view of the fireworks. And yeah, we're getting ready. We're getting excited. Yesterday, the staff closed the office for a couple hours to repaint the underpass walls red, white, and blue. I think that project is still continuing today, but as you go into the Marine Park, you'll see a little freshen up there on the paint job under the train trellis. And celebrating our Independence Day.
We probably should explain to people when you say the underpass, because I've been into there. This is when you come into Marine Park, you've got an interesting, very tight little curve. I would almost describe as scary.
Yeah. It's you got to proceed with caution. Go slow. There is only one entrance and one exit to the Marine Park in Cascade Locks, and that goes under the Union Pacific train tracks. And so it's a little underpass. It's got a 12-foot maximum clearance. So if you're coming in an RV, make sure you measure. Make sure that air conditioning unit isn't going to get chopped off the top of your RV on your way into the Marine Park. But it's the address on Google Maps is 355 Wanapa, and that's the entrance. You'll see a big sign there for the Sternwheeler and Ixtapa, which are both located down in the Marine Park. And you mosey your way through there, and the main green of Marine Park, after you go under the train tracks, is to the right. You'll see there's a Sternwheeler-themed playground there ready for everybody. A music stage. We'll have live music from a band called Driftwood Drive that are coming down here all the way from Seattle to play for us most of the afternoon and towards the fireworks show. And lots of food vendors.
I'd be curious to know for your particular 4th of July events, given that you've got obviously a lot of recreation around you, a lot of people camping, etc. in RVs, motorhomes. I say obviously I'm sure the local folks come out for this, but do you find you get a lot of the folks who are again doing the outdoor recreation in the area, and for the evening of the 4th of July, they find their way to the Marine Park?
Yeah, it's kind of a magnet a little bit. There's kind of a funny joke about people discovering Cascade Locks because they just weren't going to make it all the way back to Portland before they needed to use the bathroom. And so they pulled off for a pit stop. And they're like, wait a minute, I had no idea this town was so cute and all this stuff was here. And, there's all this great stuff. And then they end up coming back year after year after year. There's, a couple of groups that just kind of ended up here on the 4th of July, and now they come back every year because it's like I said, it's a small town. It's a peaceful 4th of July. There's crowds at around the fireworks show, but you're not feeling crowded. You feel like you've got room. You can see the fireworks really well from the swim beach, which is also at Marine Park. It's the far, I guess you would say, northeast end of Marine Park. It's a beautiful swim beach, and folks will come down and just float around all day, cool off, and wait for the fireworks. The Sternwheeler will be having a fireworks cruise, and they are booking those tickets now, where you can actually be out on the river, literally like directly under the fireworks. And they have to give a shout out to our neighbors across the river in Stevenson. They also have a tremendously awesome fireworks show. So if you're on the sternwheeler, you get kind of the benefit of both shows. You can see both shows from Cascade Locks, but on the sternwheeler, it's a really amazing view. So check that out.
All right, so that's an opportunity as well.
Yeah.
I assume we probably should mention, we did this with the Port of Hood River here a few days ago. I'm assuming, because you mentioned, much like the Port of Hood River, as you know, because you were there, there's one way in and one way out, and that we probably should remind people that you probably need to be a little patient on the 4th of July.
Yeah, you got to pack your patience. As soon as the fireworks are over, there's sort of a mass exodus, but it doesn't take that long. One of the things that we really want to encourage everybody to do is to use right turn only as they exit from Marine Park. That makes the whole process go a whole lot faster. Right turn, even if you need to go left eventually, if you right turn out of the park and then make your way around through town and get back to where you need to be, that's the best way to empty the park quickly. But yeah, like you said, I mean, it's a nighttime celebration, and you're going to use up a lot of your night. So pack your patience and have a good time, listen to some music, and just enjoy the camaraderie of 4th of July. It's a really fun vibe.
And we will mention again, because it's Saturday night, so I assume for most people they don't have to work on Sunday, so they can take a little more time.
Yeah, take your time. Take your time.
So as I got you here for a couple minutes here, what else has been happening? I know the Bridge of the Gods has been a focal point of late, trying to make sure that can continue to be nice and operational, and you've had some success there.
Yeah, we're getting really encouraging results from a study that was funded by a grant from the Oregon State Legislature. It's an ODOT grant that is funding a project with a long name. It's the Seismic Preservation and Safety Study for the bridge, and it's really kind of a soup to nuts study. Everything from a LiDAR level scan, laser level scan of the entire bridge to create super accurate digital plans of the bridge, to the installation of real-time what we call health monitoring systems, which are data recording devices that are recording vibration and loads on the bridge and how the bridge is responding to those loads. We did I'm blanking on the geotechnical. There we go. Borings that drilled down into the land that supports the bridge and found, luckily, bedrock right where we want it to be, and the bridge is on solid footing, which is very, very good. And knowing that helps our engineers run some computer models that take the results of the geotechnical studies and the health monitoring data and the extremely detailed digital model of the bridge, and now they can run through that model different scenarios for different types of earthquakes, including your 1,000-year Cascadia subduction zone type earthquake, all the way to a local earthquake that, maybe would be more reminiscent of St. Helens eruption or something like that. And finding how the bridge would respond, to those different types of earthquakes. And then generally just condition monitoring and prioritizing which major and minor repairs should come in which order over the next 20 years. So all of this will inform a new capital maintenance plan for the bridge. And we're learning everything we ever wanted to know about the Bridge of the Gods, and it's important to know all those things. The other focus that's really important is pedestrian safety. As you know, the Bridge of the Gods is part of the Pacific Crest Trail. It's really important for it's a really important pedestrian crossing, not just for vehicles. And so that mix of pedestrians and vehicles on a 100-year-old bridge over the mighty Columbia, is inherently safety concern ridden. And so the engineers are really looking at ways that we can, both in the near term and the long term, improve pedestrian safety and really find ways to separate the pedestrians from the traffic and really make these travel lanes much more clear and safe for all the bridge users.
I recall doing an interview with one of your engineers on the program here a few months ago in regards to this, as you were going into this stage of the bridge study. How long is it going to take to get all these measurements and results to move forward with putting that maintenance plan together?
Well, they're really kind of at that pivot point right now.
Okay.
We're finishing up the last bit of work of the first study contract with Parsons Transportation. And that is exactly the point where we're at right now, where Parsons will be delivering the results of their study to the commission in the next couple of months and lining out the optional, we've got multiple pathways of options to achieve really the best results for the bridge users. And so those discussions will be beginning the late summer.
Okay, so that is coming. But again, upcoming 4th of July in Cascade Locks. What time do you start festivities there?
Oh, it goes all day. The fireworks, begin right after dark, sometime around 10 o'clock. Yep. But it's good. Just come and bring your lawn chair, bring your cooler, and set out your spot and just enjoy the atmosphere all day. There's lots of stuff to do at the Marine Park. Like I said, the swim beach, the sternwheeler, the Cascade Locks Museum, which I'm not sure if they're going to be open on the 4th. Check their website. I might be confusing things. And then, of course, there's lots of fishing going on, exploring Thunder Island. I really want to give a shout out to the port maintenance crew. They've created new little trails all around Thunder Island and picnic areas. On the 4th, most of that access is going to be closed off because they're going to be setting off the pyrotechnics, so we won't have access to Thunder Island. But I do kind of want to push it for folks coming, maybe if you stay the night, Saturday night, and want to come out on Sunday or anytime during the week, come walk around Marine Park. It's beautiful. Earlier in the year, they're gone now, but early in the year, all of the rhododendrons in Marine Park just explode in beautiful, beautiful colors. So it's just a gorgeous, gorgeous park. I think it's the best park in the gorge, and I just really encourage people to come down and explore.
From the Port of Cascade Locks, Genevieve Scholl with us. Genevieve, nice to talk to you. I haven't talked to you in a while.
Yeah, I'll talk to you soon.
All right, talk to you soon. Thanks, Jen. It is 8:28 in the morning on Mid-Columbia today. We will come back, check out the news right after this.
Gorge homeowners, is your old AC costing you more than a new one would? If your system is over 15 years old, the answer is probably yes. A new energy-efficient AC from Sky Heating, AC, Plumbing, and Electrical means lower utility bills. Plus, Sky technicians make the whole process easy, from a free home assessment to same-day quotes. With financing available and HVAC system payments as low as $119 a month, there's no reason to put it off. Schedule now at skyheating.com. CCB number 245538.
Sky Heating, AC, Plumbing, and Electrical.
Eastside Paving has a local team of professional paving experts ready to handle any size job for you. Eastside Paving's 35 years of experience provides the knowledge, procedures, and resources to ensure the job is done correct. Licensed, bonded, and insured in Oregon and Washington, Eastside Paving specializes in industrial, commercial, and residential jobs. Whether it's overlay, parking lots, private roads, patching, or driveway resurfacing, Eastside Paving has you covered. Call Rick Saran today for a free estimate. 503-519-6478. EastsidePaving.com. CCB 68962.
Coffee for Mid-Columbia Today guests is provided by Hood River Coffee Roasters, the gorgeous local coffee roasters, on Tucker Road on the Heights in Hood River.
It is 8:30 in the morning on Mid-Columbia today. Checking the news, a 19-year-old Sandy man died in a two-vehicle accident Wednesday morning on Highway 97 north of Goldendale. According to the Washington State Patrol, a pickup driven by Tanner Wise was northbound on Highway 97 at milepost 28 just before 7:45 Wednesday morning when the truck went onto the shoulder, overcorrected, crossed the center line, and struck the driver's side of an oncoming truck and trailer. The pickup then rolled and came to rest against the guardrail. Wise taken to Cadillac Regional Medical Center in Richland, where he was pronounced deceased. The truck and trailer driver, a 64-year-old man from Staunton, was taken to Klickitat Valley Hospital in Goldendale for treatment of injuries. The WSP says Wise was not wearing a seatbelt. Oregon Attorney General Dan Rayfield announcing new criminal charges against 4 people the state alleges stole taxpayer money and victimized vulnerable Oregonians by filing fraudulent Medicaid reimbursement claims. Rayfield's announcement coincided with the federal government pressing Medicaid fraud charges against more than 450 people. In Oregon, each of the new cases involved providing investigators by the state's 22-person Medicaid fraud unit. About 1.4 million Oregonians receive health care through Medicaid, otherwise known as the Oregon Health Plan. Staff from Rayfield's office are among the only employees of Democratic State Attorneys General offices to attend the late May meeting on anti-fraud measures Vice President J.D. Vance led. Rayfield said while he objected to a late notice on the meeting, he felt it was an important issue to make time to attend. The new owner of the Portland Trail Blazers yesterday showed no interest in putting money toward the Moda Center's expected $600 million makeover, saying simply keeping the NBA franchise in Portland was enough of a financial sacrifice. The Oregonian Oregon Live reports Tom Dundon said, quote, "It feels like we're making a pretty big investment by staying here." During a brief appearance at the annual meeting of the Portland Metro Chamber, which the business group held at the aging city-owned arena. The remarks were the latest indication the Texas billionaire expects taxpayers to foot the entire bill of a project deemed by proponents as essential to prevent the Blazers from leaving town. They also came as numerous Portland lawmakers on Wednesday made it clear they want to see the franchise contribute a significant chunk of cash toward the arena renovation in exchange for the city's own financial support. The hardening battle between some local political leaders and the Blazer owner injected another dose of uncertainty into the complex public finance deal that officials are attempting to finalize in the coming months. Temperatures 64 in Stevenson, 70 in the Dalles, 67 in Hood River. It is 8:33.
When duty calls, we answer. From porta potties, RVs to septic tanks, Bishop Sanitation keeps the Columbia Gorge clean and fresh. Fast, friendly, and not afraid to get our hands dirty. So remember, it's potty time. Learn more at bishopsanitation.com and let us do the dirty work for you.
Want to stay in shape, be involved in a sport you love, and earn money in the process? Become an athletic official. There's a shortage of officials in Oregon, and we need you now more than ever. Visit osaa.org/officials for more information and to get registered.
Hey, it's Zach from Del Carpine Automotive. You know those tall Sprinter vans that look like they could secretly double as apartments? Yeah, we work on those, and we know them really well. Whether it's your adventure rig, work van, or mystery mobile full of camping gear and snacks from 2022, we've got you covered. We're now just 10 minutes up the hill in our great new location in Hood River. Come see us. From Mercedes and Ford, big rigs to Sprinters, no jobs too big or small. At Del Carpine, we work on them all. Family owned and locally trusted.
Mid-Columbia Today is a public affairs program of Bicoastal Media Columbia River, 98.3 FM and 1340 AM KIHR and GorgeRadio.com. Now, back to Mark Bailey.
8:36 in the morning on Mid-Columbia Today. Well, we got some time to talk here. Unlike the other day when I was not prepared, today I somewhat am. And what got me going is something that you've heard me talk about. The current situation with the Portland Trail Blazers and their new owner, Tom Dundon. And I saw this last night. I was perusing through various credible news sources. I.e., I'm not on social media. And saw the story from the Oregonian Oregon Live on the Portland Metropolitan Chamber of Commerce annual meeting. They held it at the Moda Center with Tom Dundon there. Now, this was his opportunity to sell people on this. This would be a great place to say, and we'll kick in X. Not only did he not do that, basically, the quotes, His attitude is, I'm doing you a big favor by letting you have this basketball team that tickets run about $100 on average to go see. That's how I interpreted it. I mean, when he says, quote, and this is a direct quote, it feels like we're making a pretty big investment by staying here. Really? You think you're that important? Now, I understand many of you out there are Blazer fans. You know I'm not an NBA fan, but I acknowledge the history. And when I was a kid, I was a big Blazer fan. I was 11. Actually, no, I hadn't turned 11 yet. I was just short of turning 11 when the Blazers won the NBA championship. Bill Walton, Maurice Lucas, Lionel Hollins, Dave Twardzik, Bob Gross, Lloyd Neal, Johnny Davis, Corky Calhoun, Robin Jones. I'm missing a couple. Larry Steele. I've almost got the whole roster right there, almost 50 years later. I love those guys. I just lost interest in the NBA as time went on, and quite frankly, I don't like how the game is played today compared to what it was 50 years ago. But that's another discussion. That's irrelevant. I mean, this guy is asking for, and by the way, the public subsidy, when you add in what the city of Portland said they spend toward ongoing operating expense for the next 20 years, $280 million, additional on what they already do, you're looking at about a $900 million subsidy on this. Now, the city does own this. Multnomah County, some of their county commissioners are starting to balk on this because it's not on the tax rolls anymore. It was when Paul Allen had the controlling interest in it, the Allen companies. It was on the tax rolls. So Multnomah County got money from it. Well, that changed over the years. And now it's really the city of Portland's building. And I'm not saying that they shouldn't be kicking some money into this because they get revenue from things other than the Blazers out of this. But the reality is, I hear this term aging building. It's all 30 years old. Okay, this isn't like the building, old Chicago Stadium, when they replaced it after like 80 years and the thing was almost falling over. That's not the case. There's a lot of 30-year-old buildings that are doing just fine. However, it wasn't built with all now modern arena amenities designed to have club areas and more suites and basically more ways to generate money out of upper income areas. Which, if I thought that kept ticket prices down for the average person, I would actually be in favor of. But they don't. That's been proven they don't. I looked up average ticket prices for the Blazers. It's hard to do because you do the sliding pricing now in the aftermarket and all the factors that go into it. But it looked like it was pretty much on average $100 a ticket on average. There's some less, there's some more. The point being, this isn't like the old days where a family could afford to go a few times a year and not have to drain their pocketbook completely. Which is why I'm becoming less and less impressed with the idea, among other reasons, the Oregon State Legislature voted to kick into this thing. Yes, they're going to use a, quote, tax on the salaries of the athletes, but that's all money that could have gone to something else. The Blazers should be kicking into this. I'm sorry they're the main tenant. They are. They will get the main benefit from this. Yes, the Portland Fire play there. Just started this year. I'm not surprisingly they're a great success. I thought when WNBA came back it would be, and it is. They're not a great on-the-floor success yet, but they're an expansion team. Actually, they're playing pretty well for an expansion team. So you don't expect that for a while. But then I typed in, okay, average ticket prices for the Fire. Again, it was kind of difficult. But the answer I got back was around $40. I did see a chart they apparently had sent to people when they were selling season tickets for the season. Yes, they had some $100 plus tickets. That's fine down the lower, really low rows. But for the most part, you could get a ticket to a Fire game and get tickets for your family and not put yourself into a horrible position for the average family. If Blazer tickets were priced like that, to be honest, I'd be far more willing to do this. But it doesn't really benefit a ton of people. It doesn't. And I don't buy the economic development parts of this. There's too many examples of why, including the Rose Garden Moda Center itself and what was pitched when that thing was built in the mid-'90s, what it was supposed to become down there, that it never got close to, as far as spurring other business in that area and creating this Rose Quarter area that didn't really pan out. I'm just sitting there going, then I hear, and this is a guy who owns a Stanley Cup champion NHL Carolina Hurricane franchise. In the end, I think basically what this tells me, he bought this team prepared to move it. He's ready to move it now, from what I can tell. To make those remarks, it doesn't seem like the remarks are particularly couched in any sort of political, there are ways you could say that same message and not be direct. And not be as directed at them. And apparently it is true the Blazers have the lowest sponsorship dollar revenue in the NBA. They are a smaller market. They are. And you're in a place where, frankly, the economy is not great right now. Which also makes this a difficult time to try to do something like this. It doesn't sound like Multnomah County is going to get on board with this, is what it doesn't sound like. They were expected $100 million in the grand plan on this. Portland City Council hasn't signed up on it. The mayor wants it, but the city council's got to approve it. Think about all the things you read about what goes on with that board and their priorities. I don't see this being in there, and I'm not sure I blame them on this one. I might disagree with them on a lot of things. I don't disagree with them here if they decide not to do this. I know the Blazers have a place in a lot of people's hearts. I don't think around the state. I think dating back to the Jail Blazer era, I think the attitude toward the Blazers changed. I also think for much of the state, the Blazers are not the most popular sports entity in Oregon. I don't think it's. I think it's college football. Oregon/Oregon State, with probably a much bigger lean now toward Oregon, given how major college football seems to be trying to wreck itself. But I guess I'm getting older. I just don't have any patience for this idea of spending nearly $1 billion, in this case, to bring a good, comfortable arena. I've been in there. It's fine. It's not perfect, but it certainly isn't collapsing around itself. Hey, the Memorial Coliseum, its predecessor, is still standing 30 years later, and they just put a bunch of money into that. I'm not sure it was a good idea, but they also have a very good junior hockey team playing there that draws people, and it's probably a better idea than this. But yeah, this was rather shocking. The lack of, at this stage. Now, sometimes these do come out when maybe you're getting really close to deadlines and hardball. In this case, he just came out and basically said, "Yeah, you ought to throw this money at me and thank me for this. I'm willing to have this team here." Because here's the other part of this. Okay, you have an NBA franchise. I'd be asking at this point, so where do you think you're going to go? Name me the city where you're going to get better here. Seattle and Las Vegas, they're already in line for NBA expansion. NBA is not going to let them move to Seattle and Las Vegas because they want the expansion dollars. Expansion dollars are big, big bucks to leagues. In the billions of dollars, $2.5 billion probably, is my bet per franchise. That's $5 billion for Seattle and Las Vegas. NBA wants that money. They're not going to give up one of those spots for the Blazers to move. Not a chance. And we can name cities. I mean, St. Louis and Kansas City don't have teams. They have arenas that probably would need to meet what he wants redone. The arena in St. Louis is about the Moda Center age, home of the St. Louis Blues NHL team. Kansas City has had a new arena sitting without a tenant. Actually, it's not new anymore, for years. So I assume that would need to be renovated. I mean, I imagine there are places you can threaten to go. I imagine you can try to think of them. But they don't really come to mind necessarily. The two most likely, the hot ones right now for NBA, are already pretty much, they haven't said they're expanding there, but they've come pretty close. Again, they're going to want the expansion dollars. I think at some point you call people's bluff on this. How much is this guy bluffing? I'd hate to see the Blazers leave too, even though I don't watch them. I do not go to their games. I'm not an NBA fan. I recognize what they do mean emotionally to the city of Portland and to some of the state of Oregon. I'm not sure it's as much as it used to be 30 years ago. But I just found those comments to be just kind of a wow thing to me. Like, okay, I don't need this. I don't have to have this. This is not necessary. I notice people seem to go to the Hillsborough Hop games, Class A baseball, and enjoy themselves. People go to the Portland Fire, WNBA, and really seem to enjoy themselves. Thorns, Timbers. We have other sporting options here. University of Portland plays high-level college basketball. Portland State plays high-level college basketball in a neat little building. I got the broadcast from a few games for them. It's kind of a neat little hidden place. It's just a pain to get to. There are other options. You don't have to have the NBA here. You don't. It's not necessary. Hartford lost its NHL team to Carolina 30-plus years ago. The guy didn't own him at the time. And it appears Hartford, Connecticut still exists as a city and still seems to do okay. It's all right. We don't have to have this. Certainly not the money they want. I will say again what I said earlier when the Oregon legislature first did theirs. I'm really not interested to hear about priority and money spending from the Oregon legislature anymore after they managed to put that package together as quickly as they did. And I think of our education and our roads, etc. But yet we could figure this out. Maybe it's a little simpler, but it didn't need to happen. We should not. State money shouldn't be going to this at all. Period. In any form. City of Portland wants to figure it out on its own. I'm probably fine with that. Multnomah County would be fine with it because it's not my money. But it sure sounds like the City of Portland and Multnomah County has got some commissioners and city councilors who aren't interested in doing this. And an owner who I'm not sure cares if they do it. In the owner of the Blazers, I think he wants to move. Those comments for me were of a guy who basically is just saying, I want to pull this team out. I didn't buy this team to keep it in Portland. I realize first, I don't mean to depress Blazer fans here. This is not the way I would have thought the Blazers would have moved. I always worried the Blazers might get moved to Seattle, which I don't think is on the table anymore, which is good news. I hope something can be figured out, but the Blazers need to at least be a contributor to this thing. And a big contributor. So there you go. That's what got me going to allow me to fill this time. Was that one. It's 8:51. We will come back with more after this.
Hello, this is Hood River City Council President Gladys Rivera. Thank you to everyone who participated in the city's recent community survey. Your feedback is helping guide important conversations about housing and public safety in Hood River. Now, we invite you to join us in person. Attend our Housing Town Hall on Tuesday, June 23rd from 6 to 7:30 p.m. at City Hall to learn more about housing needs and possible solutions. Then visit our police station open house on Monday, June 29th from 5 to 7 p.m. Learn more at hoodriver.gov/bond.
Eastside Paving has a local team of professional paving experts ready to handle any size job for you. Eastside Paving's 35 years of experience provides the knowledge, procedures, and resources to ensure the job is done correct. Licensed, bonded, and insured in Oregon and Washington. Eastside Eastside Paving specializes in industrial, commercial, and residential jobs. Whether it's overlay, parking lots, private roads, patching, or driveway resurfacing, Eastside Paving has you covered. Call Rick Saran today for a free estimate. 503-519-6478. EastsidePaving.com. CCB 68962.
Coffee for Mid-Columbia Today guests is provided by Hood River Coffee Roasters, the gorgeous local coffee roasters, on Tucker Road on the Heights in Hood River.
I'm going to put a quick little bow tie on this. I mentioned, if how I'd feel different about the Blazer thing. If families could afford to go on a regular basis without spending a ton of money. I realize it's not the same sport, but the first time I got to go to a Major League Baseball game was in the 1970s. My mom took me when we were down in Southern California visiting family. Drove from Long Beach to Dodger Stadium on a Tuesday, which wasn't fun then, to go see the Dodgers and the Philadelphia Phillies. It turned out to be a doubleheader because we had to mail for tickets back then, a couple months before. We couldn't do it on computers. And in the first time the Phillies were in Los Angeles, this is the second time they were in for the season, it got rained out. And they picked to make up a game that night we were going. So I got a doubleheader. Not sure my parents planned on that. But you know how much a reserve seat cost? $3. Now we were in the second deck. Down lower it was $4. That was the most expensive tickets there. $4. So I had to look up here. $3 in 1977. That's when the game was. Today is $16.49. I guarantee you those tickets go for a lot more than $16.50 at Dodger Stadium. I know this because I've looked them up in the past. Try $60 or $70 now. Bleacher seats at Dodger Stadium in the outfield go for about $40, I think. And they're high on and they're on the high end of the baseball scale. But you get the point. The ticket prices have skied far more than the pace of inflation. Far more. And they seem to be making money, which is why I will contend you don't need to give owners money for arenas and stadiums. You don't. Not at that level. I get trying to help the minor league teams out, okay? Because guess what? Those tickets are going to be about $10, $15. People can go and enjoy themselves, and it becomes a really good part of the community. Kids can go, have a good time, and not spend a ton of money. And I haven't even counted in yet how much it costs to get a drink there, soft or alcoholic. I need to take one more break, don't I? Okay. Cameron's trying to keep me on track here. 8:57, I'll be back after this.
Tune in weekday mornings at 8:05 and keep up with community events and issues with the Mid-Columbia Today Show on Mid-Columbia's news leaders, 98.3 FM and 1340 AM KIHR. Special thanks to our sponsors, Skyline Hospital, Eastside Paving, and Del Carpine Automotive.
Okay, I'm going to throw in one more thing here before I get away. I'll be very succinct on this. When I hear about the Blazers. 30 years old. This building is aging. Okay, I can just do this right here in Oregon. In the school district I'm sitting in, Hood River County School District. Yes, they built May Street here about 3 or 4 years ago, or a few years ago. They're still paying off. Every other school is at least 55 years old. At least. And I don't think I'm sharing something that's uncommon around this state. That's aging. 30-year-old arena is not aging. It's not. Okay, I'll stop. I'll stop. Tomorrow, we could use some time in the garden, couldn't we? Central Gorge Master Gardeners, Eric Bosler is going to be here tomorrow. I could use the calming effects of gardening at this point. Boy, I got myself worked up on this, and this isn't really, it's not in our area yet, it is. I get, because the state legislature's committed money to it. I know how they said they did it. I'm fine, but I just don't agree. I don't agree with this in a lot of different areas. We need to leave. I will go. Cameron's pushing the button. I think he was just going to shut off my microphone. We're done. I'm Mark Bailey. Talk to you again Friday.
Columbia Today Show is a public affairs presentation of Bicoastal Media Columbia River. The views expressed on the program are not necessarily those of the station, parent company, or of the sponsors. We welcome your suggestions for future shows. Call us at 541-386-1511. Listen to Mid-Columbia Today where you want. Follow or subscribe to Mid-Columbia Today wherever you download your podcast to get the show delivered every day to your mobile device.